What is up, guys? Justin Jennings here with Jennings Performance Coaching. Today, I want to tell you guys about some of the biggest fitness mistakes I've made in my journey. So, over the last 4 years or a little bit longer, I made a pretty insane fitness transformation. Went from about 235 pounds by every standard of measuring body fat. You could have considered me obese to at my leanest. Let's see, in September of this year or of September of last year, I was about 185 pounds, pretty shredded, had some lines in my glutes, veins in my abs, separation pretty well everywhere. But it took me a long time to first get enough fat off that you could tell that I had muscle underneath, and then accumulate enough muscle that it was noticeable, and then diet enough fat off again that you could see the muscle. So it took me a long time. I made a lot of mistakes along the way. Today, I'm going to tell you guys about some of my biggest mistakes. Hopefully, you guys can avoid those if you're somebody that's looking to improve your physique or get in just general better shape all around. Maybe you can take some advice away from this and do it a little bit faster than what I did if you don't put all these little roadblocks in front of yourself. So, number one, what was the biggest mistake? Guys, thanks for watching. Hope you're enjoying the video so far. If you are, remember, like, subscribe, show some support. My channel is not monetized, so the only way that you can support this channel is by supporting me directly or supporting the brands that support me. I do coaching, so I help busy, hardworking people supercharge their bodies and their mindsets. It's physique and lifestyle coaching to help you feel better, both mentally, physically, be healthier, and be the best version of yourself. If that's something you're interested in, go ahead and click the link down in the description. Give me a shout over on WhatsApp, and we will see about working together. Also, for all of your supplement needs, I work with a supplement company called Titan Nutrition. There's a discount code down in the description there. If you click that link, you'll get 20% off your order. And right now, they're giving out free creatine with every order. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. Remember, click the links, like, subscribe. Back to the video. Made, in my opinion, was, and 1 and 2 and 3 really kind of go together. But we'll start with number 1. Starting out, whenever I decided to make the change, start eating healthier, get in shape, I didn't log anything. I didn't track my calories. I didn't track my protein. I didn't even track my training, really. I just would go into the gym and do some stuff. I'd do some stuff with some weights, do some stuff on some cardio equipment, probably go in and get in the sauna or something like that because that's what fit people did, I thought. And then as far as my diet, I didn't track anything. I was just tried to eat healthier, so to speak, healthier. Uh, but you can eat as healthy as you want to, completely whole food, organic, fruits and vegetables, the perfect diet, so to speak. And if your calories aren't low enough, you're not going to lose weight as fast as you would like to be. And same thing with your training. We've all seen that guy in the gym that's just over there. He's there every day. He's there every day for an hour and a half, and he's just doing what I would describe as goofing around. He goes over, he does some crunches, he does some lunges, he does some leg extensions, and you can't really tell if any of it's a warm-up set or working set or when he transitions between the two. And he doesn't ever really break a sweat, but he's there every day doing the thing. That was me. And so I was consistent. That wasn't the problem. But I would go in, I would do some type of bullshit exercise, string a few of them together, get on the bike or the elliptical for a few minutes and do some stuff there, and then go in and get in the sauna. And I wasn't seeing any difference. Surprise, surprise, I wasn't tracking anything. I wasn't pushing myself very hard, wasn't ensuring that I was getting better week to week. So it's no shocker there that I didn't see any progress. So, number one, the best way to know if you're making progress is to log everything. So, log your calories, log your body weight. You should be weighing yourself every day, getting a weekly average of your body weight, making sure that weekly average is moving either up or down, depending on which way you're trying to go, and adjust your calories accordingly. So that, if you monitor it, you can manipulate it. And so if you're monitoring your calorie intake, monitoring your training sessions, logging everything, monitoring your body weight, you can make the necessary changes to ensure that you're getting stronger in the gym week to week. Your body weight is trending either up or down, whichever way you want it to go, week to week, etc., etc. And so that's probably the biggest one that most people miss is they're not logging everything. If they go in and even if they're training really hard, they just go in and do a set of dumbbell bench press to failure. That's great. Did you do any more reps than you did last week? I don't know. Well, if you're trying to build muscle and you're not doing progressively more week to week, I'm skeptical to believe that you're actually building muscle, and so you probably need to make some changes somewhere, whether it's to volume or intensity or your diet or whatever, to ensure that you are getting stronger week to week. Because if you're getting stronger week to week, likely you're going to be putting on some muscle there. And the second biggest mistake, this goes into not tracking my food necessarily. So when I first started out, I consumed a lot of content from internet influencers, charlatans, bullshit artists, people that just have a big platform and like to say a lot of nonsense. And I ended up doing a pretty long stint on carnivore or keto. I don't know if I was ever fully what they would consider a carnivore diet, but I was pretty close. Carbs were super low, fats and protein were both super high, but I can't give you numbers because I wasn't tracking. But if you listen to these people that are espousing these types of diets, they'll tell you things like you don't need to track. Just eat meat. Just eat meat every meal until you're full. Meat and eggs and raw milk and all of that till you're full every meal, and you'll lose body fat, you'll build muscle, yada, yada, yada. That's just not true. Especially if you have a high hunger signal, you need to be monitoring your calorie intake, measuring everything, and at least making sure that if you want to do keto or something like that, at least make sure you're in a calorie deficit, because you can be in a calorie surplus for sure. There's a lot of calories in a 16-ounce ribeye, and me and most people I know can sit down and eat a 16-ounce ribeye pretty easy in one setting, by ourselves. And so if you're somebody that is generally pretty hungry, generally has a pretty high hunger signal, you should definitely be monitoring your calories, because even though you're not eating any junk food, you're not eating things like pizza or ice cream or candy or anything like that, you can eat enough whole, healthy, animal based foods to go over your maintenance calories and get yourself in a calorie surplus. And that is going to lead to you not losing weight, because you do not defy the laws of thermodynamics, I promise. If you could figure out how to do that, you could go pick up your Nobel Prize whenever you wanted to. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how you're eating. Calories in, calories out is king. And so if you don't know Your calories in, calories out is really hard to measure. So if you don't know your calories in and your daily body weight, it's really hard to figure out whether you're losing weight or not. So whether you're losing body fat or not, I should mention that as well, because a lot of people will switch to keto and say, I lost 20 pounds in 2 weeks. Uh, Carbohydrates allow you to hold more water both intra and extracellularly, so inside the muscle cell and in the subcutaneous space underneath the skin. Carbs are going to allow you to hold more water. If you just cut them all out cold turkey, you're going to lose a lot of that body water and you're going to lose a bunch of weight really fast. If you start eating carbs again, your glycogen stores and your subcutaneous water is just going to shoot right back up to where it was. You're going to be right back to where you were. So it's not the best approach. Keto, carnivore, etc., is not the best approach to losing body fat. It's not really sustainable. You see it a lot. People will go on these extreme diets and extremely restrictive. They'll eat this way for a few months and then they'll quit this diet and they never actually like built any habits to eat a healthy diet and restrict their calories, measure things, kind of portion control, that type of stuff. And so they just balloon right back up to where they were, and now they're just fat again. And it's the most common thing with these keto and carnivore diets is that people never learn portion control or anything like that whenever they're using them. They just use them to crash diet off a bunch of weight, and then 6, 8, 12 weeks later, however long, they've ballooned back up to the same size that they were before. It's a way better option to just track your calories, eat a balanced diet, whole grains, lean proteins, healthy fat sources, mostly unsaturated fat sources, things like oils. Seed oils are perfectly fine. Don't even get me started on that. Nuts, nut butters, avocados, that type of stuff. And fruits, vegetables, get plenty of fiber. That is going to be way more sustainable. Track that, understand portion control. Eventually, you'll get to the point where you don't really need to track anymore. You can kind of eyeball and get yourself pretty close enough that you can maintain once you get to that body weight or that body composition that you're looking to be at. So, number 3, I talked about this kind of in number 1, but it goes right along because the same people that recommend these keto and carnivore diets, these fad diets, are the same people that recommend the types of workouts I was doing. So I would just go into the gym. I'd do some stuff with some bands. I'd do some stuff with some kettlebells. Not really anything. It was very difficult. I'm sorry, but if you're working out, if your version of a weight training session is swinging a kettlebell between your legs for 5 minutes and you think you're building muscle, you're lying to yourself. You need to do heavy compound multi-muscle or multi-joint, multi-muscle group movements close to failure in order to build muscle. That's just the way it is. I mean, I don't even know why this is a conversation. I wish somebody would have said to me what I'm about to say to you guys right now. And that is, who are the people in the world that are the best at building muscle? It's bodybuilders. That's what they do for a living. Who are the people in the world that are the best at losing fat? It's bodybuilders. Nobody in the world is leaner than the Mr. Olympia every year. That guy can't sit on the toilet. It hurts him to sit on the toilet because he doesn't have any fat left in his ass. They're the best at building muscle. They're the best at losing body fat. Let's just look at what they do and do that instead of some internet influencer, somebody that looks decent, kind of has a beach body that they probably got mostly through genetics, probably have genetics to be lean, don't have a big appetite, that type of stuff. They go swing some kettlebells around for a few minutes and call it good. That doesn't mean that's what you should be doing. And so my my workouts included a lot of just battle ropes, kettlebells, burpees, doing weird shit with kettlebells too, like Turkish get-ups and like stuff like that. It completely useless if your goal is to build muscle. So that would be mistake number 3, is thinking I could shortcut just basic hard resistance training by doing some flashy stuff that I saw Joe Rogan doing in some Instagram video. So, and number 4, this one came a little bit later. So 1 through 3 was really at the beginning of whenever I decided to get in shape. I guess you'd call it like a fitness journey. I don't really just love that term, but kind of the beginning of my fitness journey. And number 4, it came a little bit later after I realized that, hey, I'm not seeing any results from swinging this 30-pound kettlebell around for 20 minutes a day and doing the assault bike. That's not building muscle. Strange. So I looked at, hey, who's really good at building muscle? I don't even remember what the program or something. I think it was Jay Cutler, actually. I think I probably just Googled, like, how did Jay Cutler train when he won the Mr. Olympia? And just copy paste that every day. It was the same. I still wasn't tracking anything, but I knew that, okay, I'm going to go in, I'm going to do 4 sets of lat pull downs, I'm going to do, just whatever it was. I took that exact training program that I got off the internet, took it into the gym every day. I would do that. And now, did it work? Yeah, it for sure worked. I for sure built more muscle doing that than I did swinging kettlebells around. But would it have worked better if I would have kind of personalized it to myself a little bit more? If I would have started out at a pretty low volume, because at this point I'm pretty new to resistance training. I hadn't, what I'd been doing, what I thought I'd been doing, working out was not that. And so if I would have started out low volume, kind of titrated it up as I needed, done it a little bit more optimally, so to speak, probably pushed a little bit closer to failure than I was, I would have got way better results way faster, and I wouldn't have beat myself up so much. And so if you're somebody that uses a lot of copy paste training programs, whether that's, a big one when I was in school was the Smolov program. And if you guys are about my age, you probably know some stuff about that. There was Smolov squat and Smolov bench. You would squat or bench like 4 or 5 times a week. It was supposed to put some crazy numbers on your bench in like an 8-week mesocycle. And it would. I knew some guys that did that stuff, and it would for sure blow your pressing numbers up. But you had to be injury resilient enough that you could handle the weight and the volume that was going on in that program. And so, if you're just copy pasting stuff like that, it might work for a lot of people. It might not work for you. You might end up getting hurt, or you could definitely be getting better results doing something that was a little bit more tailored to you. So mistake number 4 would just be following copy paste training programs and expecting really good results from that. Number 5, this is the most recent mistake that I've made and kind of overcame pretty recently. And it's probably the most common with people early intermediate and early advanced, somewhere in that range. There's people that have been training for a while, kind of have a pretty good idea of what they're doing, but it's switching up too much. So switching from fat loss diets to muscle gain diets far too fast. I mean, really, how much muscle can you put on in 6-8 weeks or so? That's everybody's critique of all the studies. Not necessarily my critique. I have plenty of critiques of a lot of these studies that people cite whenever they talk about training volume or muscle gain or anything like that. But this really isn't one of mine because it is what it is. But people always say the studies are too short. It's 6 weeks. It's 8 weeks. Yada, yada, yada. Well, you've got every other gym bro that you meet, he switches between a muscle gain diet or a bulk and a fat loss diet every 6 weeks and kind of wonders why he always looks the same. Like you're just in a surplus long enough to fill up, your glycogen stores, start filling out, getting a little bit of sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, filling your muscles out. And then you're cutting the carbs back out, you're pulling everything down because you look a little bit watery or whatever. You're never making any progress. You're just up and down, still always coming back to the same spot. And then when you're in your fat loss diet, you start to get a little depleted, start to get a little bit weak, look a little bit flatter. You're like, oh my God, I must be losing muscle. Time to put the calories back in. And so you put the calories back in and start going back up. 6 weeks, get a little puffy. Like, I look a little soft. Time to start pulling the calories back out. And you just back and forth, and you're never making any progress doing that. And I did that for probably 6 months to a year of my fitness journey, right before I hired my coach. And it's really easy to look at other people and be objective as far as what they need to do. I don't have an emotional connection to how your body looks. It doesn't matter to me at all what you look like. Now, if I'm supposed to help you achieve your goals, objective enough that, I can kind of see the long-term plan. With myself, I am not. And that was a big thing that I had to deal with, was what happens in a muscle gain phase whenever you start to get a little bit fluffy, whenever the abs start to get a little bit blurry. You're going to have to put on body fat in order to put on muscle. They gain together. Hopefully you can gain, as little body fat and as much muscle as possible, but they do come together. So that was one thing that I really had to overcome. And I would say the fix for number 5, the switching back and forth, is also the fix for all of them, really. But the fix is to hire a good coach. And how do you know if you're hiring a good coach? First of all, I'm really fortunate to have found Matt. He does an awesome job. I can't say enough good about him. But I watched a lot of his content and took in a lot of the information that him and Joe provide through Physique Collective before I decided to start working with him. I was watching him and Joe's stuff for a long time. And I would recommend that that's what you do. Start consuming a lot of truly informative, actually good content. There's plenty of guys out there that provide this type of content. Paul Barnett over at Anabolic Bodybuilding, Dr. Todd Lee over at Todd Lee's Anabolic University, Dr. Mike and Jared from RP. Who else? John Jewett. John has great information. He's one of my favorites. But start consuming good quality information from these guys that know a lot. Myself, I feel like I put out good information, but you're already here. So start consuming good quality information from people that aren't sensationalists. They're not just doing clickbait stuff. They're not being contrarians and, going against what everybody else in the world says works. Follow these guys, watch a lot of their content, and then pick a coach that aligns with your goals. If you're a lifestyle guy or somebody that just wants to get in shape for the summer, it may not be the best idea for you to get on with somebody that only coaches, competitive bodybuilders. You guys' goals may not align. And the inverse is also true. If you want to step on the Olympia stage or you're trying to get your pro card, it may not be a good idea for you to hop in with somebody that only does lifestyle clients and doesn't really understand competing. And so that is my biggest piece of advice for you guys, for a shortcut to getting where you want to be, is hire a coach. As coaches, we've all tried to coach ourselves at some point, and every good coach that I know also has a coach. And because we decided that that's kind of for the birds, and it's easier to let somebody else worry about the diet and training programming, and we can focus on doing what we do best, which is just executing and coaching other people. But it can be a lot trying to coach yourself, dealing with the emotional aspects of seeing your physique change. Maybe you like the way it looks, maybe you don't like the way it looks. That look is really fleeting, and so that can be difficult there sometimes. But I say all of that to say, guys, that if you like this content, like, subscribe, leave a comment. And if you're somebody that has tried all these fad diets, you've tried the influencer workouts, you've tried the copy paste training program, and you're tired of not progressing at the rate that you want to be, you want an objective set of eyes to look at your physique and program, and you're somebody that can just execute and get on with it, you just need some help getting in the right direction, go ahead and click that link down below. Shoot me a message on WhatsApp. We'll do a consultation and you can get on with my team if we're a good fit. So, thanks again, guys. I'm Justin Jennings with Jennings Performance Coaching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Remember, like, subscribe, and until next time, thanks for watching.